Hello, it's Delia. Thanks for clicking on. So, there's been a few conversations this week about how can you know what you know and what's wrong with language when it comes to metaphysics. These are related topics. All right, so uh, the way that we're taught to know what we know, how do you know what you know, is basically through mimicry. You know what you know because of what you read. You know what you know because of somebody who told you. And um, they're whoever told you was somehow credible or valid, either to you or to the culture, to the system. And that's fine as far as it goes. But there is a way for you to know what you know, maybe without being able to explain how you know it. So for those of you who like me, had a lot of natural knowingness as a kid, but I couldn't cite references. I couldn't defend my position. I couldn't explain, where I read it, but I knew things, and it was partly kinesthetic. It was partly a sensational, gut sense. Sometimes it's referred to. Um, for me, in my body, it was more of a solidity. It was like a firmness, like an unwavering centeredness. That's the best way I can describe it. And that kind of knowing is very suspect in the world. And we're always shown examples of people who um, are either mentally ill or um, not in the mainstream of a good person in one way or another. And so we are actively taught to not trust our sense of knowing, or these days, they're actively trying to teach us to not trust our own senses. Don't trust what you see, don't trust what you hear. And that's convenient because it's such a obvious and blatant example, and it's happening on the news all the time. Um, but it's been happening all along at more subtle levels. So the more that the domination game on this planet can get people to not turn within and to not trust. And I don't mean don't trust your head knowing. This is a really different kind of a knowing. It's just like a beingness. It's something that I'm sure you've experienced at different times. Maybe not consistently, maybe not on command, but everybody has had some sense of a knowing, and it's not through the analyzer, it's not through the head. And that kind of knowing is you're being connected with your higher self. There is we're already multidimensional beings. You have a body, you have a biological heritage, parents, grandparents, et cetera, for hundreds of generations. And and you're an infinite being. Like I never can pronounce his name right, but Teilhard de Chardin, I think that's right, is a quote I see the most often about how you're not a human being having a spiritual experience. You're a spiritual being having a human experience, which is the right way around. And it is your higher self, your infinite self, the part of you that has never left the all that is. And the part of you that you return to when your body um, finishes this lifetime. It's the part of you that you come from every time you decide to take a body and come down into the world. That part of you is the part, it's the depository, it's the memory, it's the life spark. And it contains every lifetime you've ever had, which are many. And during the course of your many lifetimes, you have been everything under the sun. You have been the worst of the worst to the best of the best, the most lowly, the most highborn. You've been the top of the peak. You've been the bottom of the dung heap. And you've done everything in between. So you've killed people. You've been killed by people. I mean, everything you can think of, you've already done. As an infinite being, your higher self. And all of that experience and comprehension and wisdom is available to your body personality through connection with your higher self. And learning how to be connected and how to interrupt the programming of what it is to be human, to interrupt the programming you learned in school, those limiting definitions, and the premises and the implied, the implications. So, we're supposed to be, by 8th grade, you're supposed to know what you want to do for the rest of your life. No. And the stages of human development are A, B, C, and D. And at these different ages, these things in particular change. And while that could be true generally, the specifics of it are not necessarily true. And even if that's true for part of you, it's not true for all of you. You're already infinite, and there are lots of parts of you that you're not aware of. And living in a world that says none of them exist, that's the crazy making part. Being told that you're a fraction of your awareness and your insights and your capacities to perceive, that's crazy making. And as long as the domination game can convince us to stay in that playing field, they get to wreak havoc. And that whole dynamic is changing. It's all undergoing, everything is undergoing changes right now. It's not to say that there aren't horrible things happening on the physical level. It's not to say it's an easy time for a body to be alive on the physical. It's not saying any of that. It's just saying that that's not all who you are, and that you have resources that the world doesn't even acknowledge that can support you. And if you've ever meditated, if you've ever gotten still and just listened or asked a question, or gone to sleep with a question and woken up with an answer, I know you had experiences like this. And the more you can consciously choose to be connected and find the processes and the tools that work for you to do that, the more ease everything gets. You have to buy into less stuff, and it's easier to opt out of it. So in the kind of academic world, it would be, you have to be able to cite references. That's how you know something. And in the charismatic world, which I don't really know anything about, but they generally seem to be more second chakra. I have a feeling. My feeling says this. My feeling says that. And it is true that if you try to navigate through emotions only, it's not good. It's not comfortable. It's not good. There needs to be a balance, meaning you're co-operating. So it might be thinking, it might be analytical stuff that's co-operating with emotions, but ideally it's your infinite self that you're referring to, which has more accurate information than either emotions by themselves or the analyzer by itself. So a lot of people don't think about how they know what they know. Some of us have had reason to. Many years ago, I was had the good fortune to be in a class setting, a workshop setting where the whole weekend was spent on breaking your brain and challenging how you know what you know, to break down all the barriers and all the infrastructural lies of crazy man-made premises. It was fantastic, terribly discomfortable, discomforting, and totally worth it. So how you know what you know is an inside job at best. And because reality is going through so much transition right now, you may feel like an imperative to figure out how to know what do you know and how do you know it. And it can be done. It's really not very easy. And a lot of the traditional, like, philosophy avenues just dance around it conceptually. They don't really help you get there. But having a practice, a meditation practice, turning within, asking your higher self questions, writing down answers, having tea with your higher self, where you maybe write the question down in your dominant hand and write the answer down in your non-dominant hand. There's a million ways to do it. Most of the ones that I know do have something to do with writing, because kinesthetic stuff and writing things are a big way for my infinite self to have communicated with me all my life. So the other part of this is that just went out of my head. Let's see. Language is physical. Language has been used to describe things you can see, or that you can kinesthetically sense, or that you can smell. Language is very body-based, and it's very physicality-based. There are conceptual components to it, but basically, language describes physical things, physical reality. And being an infinite being, parts of you are not physical. Parts of you are able to do things that society says you can't do, or only crazy people can do. It's pretty uncomfortable. Many people have a capacity with time, and usually they spend too much time on one end or the other. And you can tell how you're doing it, because if you're spending a lot of time with the past, your body's going to be sad because it can't be in the past. And if your body is anxious, you're spending too much time in the future, because your body can't do anything about the future. So your body is going to be most comfortable when you're present right here, right now. And being present right here, right now, noticing the sensations in your body, is a great way to connect with your infinite self. Once you're kind of conceptually geolocated in one spot, and your body is a beacon. So one of its greatest gifts is it helps us be right here, right now. And then you can connect with the parts of you that are not in time and space, but you're grounded. And so the connection can be clearer, less terrifying for the body, and you can access the information better. So language, when it comes to talking about metaphysical things and things beyond the physical world, things that are not corporeal, that are not made up of cells and atoms, it can be very confusing. The most common expression of that is that the concept that you create your reality. Well, you do, but it's not your body personality that's always creating it. It has a part to play, but it's not the only part that's creating your physical reality. Your beliefs, which are kind of like not the things that you say, you know, I believe in so and so. Those are not the beliefs that do it. The beliefs that are kind of hidden behind you, the things that are in your shadow, they definitely create your reality. And that kind of unconsciousness is, you know, gets us in trouble. It, you know, definitely gets you a bit in the ass. So being able to connect with your higher self, which is a bigger perspective than a body personality or a lifetime, helps the system be safer. You're physically grounded, like energetically grounded to the center of the planet, to physical reality, and you're connected to the center of the universe, and you're supported with those energies. Makes it much safer because you're in a bigger space. You're being more of you to communicate with and uncover, discover, and allow your shadow parts to evolve. And then you can be more and more of all of you. I don't think it's possible to know all of you. I don't think it's possible for us uh, to really conceive of all of our aspects. But you can have the spaciousness to at least push back some of the walls, make room, entertain the concept that there are parts of you that you know about, and there's parts of you that you don't know about. And all the parts of you are definitely working on your side. It's just that some parts of you have more antiquated information, childhood information, and wrong information. And so being able to connect to everybody and be a safe place for all of you to be makes a profound difference on moving ahead, especially at a time like this, which with the universe, definitely all of life in the universe are supporting us in growing ahead. So I hope that clarifies some things for you. And I'd love to hear your comments down below. All right, see you next time.